Hello, today I'm going to walk you through the process of creating a custom GPT. A custom GPT is an advanced AI language model tailored to meet particular requirements for a specific purpose. And so I've created a couple custom GPTs before, specifically for different education processes. One of them I created helps students do primary source analysis while walking through the steps of the optic strategy. And this video is available on our website. Today, I'm going to try to create a new custom GPT, and I have not tried this out ahead of time, so I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen. I am using ChatGPT to create this, and when you open up ChatGPT on the left side, there'll be a button that says Explore GPTs, and when you click on that, you'll get this screen where in the upper right-hand corner, you see a button that says Create. And so to get started, I'm going to click on that Create button. When I click on that button, this is the screen that will come up. And so I'm just going to, as I normally would, begin the process of creating. The strategy that we'll be using today is called the SCAPE strategy. This is a language arts strategy that you can pair with primary source analysis and picture books. And if I'm being honest, I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work with GPT, but we're going to give it a shot. And so I'm just going to start out with naming this GPT, and for me, I'm going to name it the SCAPE Tutor because I want it to act as a tutor with my students as they're trying to engage in the SCAPE strategy. And so if I give it a description, I might say something like helps students learn to implement the SCAPE strategy when working with primary sources. If you're not familiar with the SCAPE strategy, this is a language arts strategy that can be used with social studies content. And what it does is we're looking at a story, often a picture book, but some kind of story that helps students understand history. So it's normally a nonfiction book or it's historical fiction. It's based on real life events, but ideally it's a nonfiction source. And there are primary sources that help support this topic, and the primary sources are available to students, and it helps students see and understand that even though they might be reading a picture book, they are actually learning about something that is a real historical event. And that's a concept that sometimes younger elementary students have trouble with because picture books are often not true. They're just fiction stories. In a lot of ways, this is a primary source strategy that can help students who are very young to begin to engage in primary source analysis, and so we're going to see if this tutor, SCAPE Tutor, can help us walk students through this process. So after I've given it a name and a description, then I want to give some instructions to my tutor to tell it what I would like it to do. So I have written these instructions up ahead of time, and I'm going to paste it. But as you can see here, it says, what does this GPT do? How does it behave? What should it avoid doing? And I'm going to go ahead and paste in what I've already written and walk you through it. So we're starting by telling it, you are a helpful and patient learning partner for a 5th grade student. Your job is to help them as they use the SCAPE strategy, and I've told it what SCAPE means, setting, character, action, plot, ending, to understand parts of a story. Ultimately, students will try to pair these story elements with primary sources such as historical documents or images. The students may read or write at about a 3rd grade level, so you must explain things simply using short sentences and easy words. You never do the work for them. Instead, you ask questions, give helpful hints, and help them think step by step. However, before you give hints, please let students try to make a guess on their own. You should sound encouraging, kind, and supportive, like a friendly classmate or tutor. If the student is confused or stuck, you explain things in a new way and help them try again. You ask for clarification if the student's question is unclear, but you always try to give a helpful answer using what they give you. As a note, the elements included in SCAPE are sometimes given different names. Setting may include place and time. Action may also be called conflict. Ending is sometimes called resolution or conclusion. Please keep that in mind as you work with students. So as you can see here in my instructions, I'm really clear that this tutor is meant to work with students. In other custom GPTs that I've created, I've also created ones that are meant for teachers to use to scaffold their teaching process, to think about ways to implement specific strategies. But this one, I'm trying to design to allow students to work directly with the GPT. Now, in the conversation starters, this is going to be little buttons that students can just click on to help get started. So I might say something like, can you help me with the S in scape? And here, you can see on the right side of the screen, it is populating, and this will become a button that I can click on to get some assistance. Sometimes the GPT will auto-populate these for you, so I'm not going to put in anything else right now. I'm just going to start with this. And then the next thing I'm going to do is upload some files. So under knowledge, it says if you upload files under knowledge, conversations with your GPT may include file contents. Files can be downloaded when code interpreter is enabled. Well, I want to go ahead and upload a file because this document that I've uploaded details what the scape strategy is, some sample questions that you might use when you're working with this scape strategy, different ways to implement it. So in addition to the instructions I've already given the custom GPT, by putting different pieces in the knowledge section, I'm further giving it additional information that will help it make good decisions about what it means to implement scape. I've also attempted to upload a worksheet that I sometimes use, and right now it just looks like a gray box, but that is a graphic organizer that I use when I implement the scape strategy with students. Underneath capabilities, you have some additional choices. You have whether or not you want this to be able to web search. So if you were creating a custom GPT to use with students and you wanted to limit the information they had access to, you might turn off the web search button. I'm going to leave web search on because I don't know what book I'm going to use, and I want this tutor to be able to search sites like the Library of Congress to be able to find primary sources for my students. But if you really wanted to lock it down and create a custom GPT that worked with students on a particular research topic, you could input all the information. I've uploaded as many as probably 25 documents to the knowledge section, so you can give it all the knowledge it needs in order to accurately answer your students' questions. I'm going to turn these other ones off though. For example, DALL-E image generation. I don't need students to be able to generate images. I'd rather them use primary sources, so there's no reason for me to have that there. Okay, so that's my configuration. I've configured everything I want to configure for now. I can also add an image here. I can either upload a photo I have, or I could use AI to generate an image for that spot. So over here in the create section, you can give it additional information. So I've already kind of told it what I want it to do, but I'll go ahead and type in a few things here as well. So I've just started by telling it you're going to be a tutor for students who are participating in the scape strategy. And then I'm going to give it some additional information as well and tell it what the scape strategy is. So I have a description here of more details about what the scape strategy is. It suggested a name. Well, I already had given it that name, but that works great. I'm telling it exactly what it's going to be able to do as part of the scape strategy. And then I'm also going to tell it you may be asked to help students, let me start with this, to read a story with students, likely via a YouTube link. Then you may be provided with primary source images to pair with different letters in the scape strategy, or you may be asked to help locate primary source images. Oh, and I see that I had a network error there, so let's see. So it told me after I gave the last detail, thanks for the detailed context, that's super helpful. Would you still like to go to Scape Tutor, or would you like these other options? And I'm going to stick with Scape Tutor, and I just gave it a little more information. We'll see what it says, but I'll tell it I'd like to stick with Scape Tutor. Now, while I was typing that, you can see on the right side it actually auto-populated some of the questions. So it said things like, how does this primary source connect to, I'm not sure what happens next. And now that it has that additional information, it actually already updated the questions. So now it says, can we read the story together and find the scape components, I'm assuming. Can you help find a historical photo for the characters? This YouTube video is our book. Can we start Scape? What primary sources fit the action or setting? So now that it's told me, do we want to stick with this name? I'll say I'll stick with that name. And I think I have given it enough information to go ahead and create. It's gonna generate a profile picture for me. Great. Like I said, I did not preview this, so I wasn't 100% sure what would happen here, but we'll let it generate a profile picture. And then, okay, I mean, that feels fine. We'll tell it that looks great. It's a story. It's clearly history. There's a teacher who's pointing things out. Love it. All right, so now that I have everything set up, we could preview it on the right, or we can go ahead and create the tutor. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create the tutor. All right, now you can see that it has set up the Scape tutor, and at this point we could go in, we could make additional edits, we can make some changes to what's happening here, and I definitely will need to do that because when I started to click buttons here, it started to do more than I wanted it to do. I'm going to have to go in and give it further directions to not tell students all the answers right off the bat and to give them some time to work things out on their own. This also happened with the Optic Buddy, and so I know that there are ways that I'm going to have to give it additional instructions, but for the time being, I've demonstrated to you how to create a custom GPT that you can then later go back and make changes to or massage based on your goals for your students. And in the next video that I create, I will show you how to make changes to this and then also walk you through what it looks like to use a custom GPT like this with elementary students.